Hi, welcome to Awareness Wednesday. I'm Taylor Bunn, Executive Director of Hope for All, and I'm here with Juan, one of our board members. And today we are out delivering meals to Grand Prairie homeless citizens with Tammy Chan of Grand Prairie Homeless Outreach Organization and her delivery team. So stay tuned and you will hear a little bit more about this great organization and how you can help. Tammy Chan, thank you for joining me. Tammy is from Grand Prairie Homeless Outreach Organization. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got started.
Okay, well, I am currently I call myself the case manager and coordinator. The way I got started was I worked for the city of Grand Prairie for 20 years, and my title was Special Projects Manager. I had three main projects. One was public art and streetscaping. Another was Keep Grand Prairie Beautiful. And the third was the Weed and Seed job training program for ex-offenders. Weed and Seed is a federally funded initiative to fight crime by weeding out crime and seeding in beneficial programs. So I wove those together kind of like a tapestry. I had the ex-offenders, I taught them how to clean bronze sculptures and clear coat murals and plant trees and do community gardens and pick up litter. So I wove those three together. And while I was working with the ex-offenders, I became aware that there are a lot of them that were homeless. And they would show up every day hungry and in the same clothes and not clean. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, there's an issue here. Where did the homeless go? So I started looking at that, and there was no place for them to go. There's no shelter and no one agency dedicated to serving the homeless in Grand Prairie. There's snippets of things that other agencies do, but not one agency that was geared towards how do we help our homeless and help them exit homelessness. So I did that program for 16 years, and towards the end of my last 4 years of working with the city, the Lord just put it on my heart that I was supposed to leave and start this nonprofit. And so as soon as I reached my 20 years with the city and became eligible to retire, I retired early and launched, with some help of friends, the Grand Prairie Homeless Outreach. There's different types of homelessness. HUD defines homelessness with 4 categories, so I'll just focus on 2 of them. The first one is the unsheltered homeless category, which is people who are living in places not meant for human habitation. That's called category 1. And they're living in underpasses, sheds, cars, tents, just outdoors. They're unsheltered. We have 89 registered current cases of unsheltered homeless living outside in Grand Prairie right now. Category 2 is people who are at high risk of homelessness. They will be homeless within 14 days if there's not some other place for them to go. So that category includes the people who are category 1, who are trying to help themselves by recycling metal, by doing odd jobs, by panhandling, prostituting, whatever they do to get themselves in a motel. When you're in a motel and you've paid for yourself to be in a motel, you're category 2 homeless. Category 2 homeless also includes people who are on disability and they get $783 a month. And there's no place that you can rent in Grand Prairie for that amount of income. You have to have 3 times the income required for rent. So, you know, they're not going to accept someone that, if the rent of the apartment is $695 and you just get $783, they're going to say you're too risky. So what they do is they stay in the day pay motels. Day pay motels will accept them because they don't require a background check. They don't require a deposit. They don't require that you not have an eviction on your record. They don't require that you have 3 times the income. So they'll stay at the motels, and the average cost of a motel room in Grand Prairie is $56 a night for the day pays. So that's over $1,500 a month. So they can only afford 2 weeks. That's why
So that's even higher than an apartment.
Yes, but it's easier to get in. There's
Sure.
no barriers to get in. And so they stay in the day pay motels for 2 weeks until their money runs out. And then they're out as a category 1 in their car or on the street. So we kind of have an ebb and a flow to our category 1 homeless, depending on what time of the month it is. But the other group, that category 2 includes, are people who have active eviction notices and they have to vacate within 14 days and they have no place to go. And that's about to go crazy here at the end of this month, unless they extend the moratorium.
Because of COVID.
Yes. And so, organizations like Grand Prairie United Charities, in partnership with the city and their emergency relief fund, have done such a great job. Man, I can't even imagine the load they've been working under. But even with all of that, some of that's about to expire, and we'll have more people out, and they'll try the motels, and then they'll live in their cars, which is category 1. And they'll, when their cars don't run, they're going to be even more needy. So I explain it that way to tell you that there's really hundreds of homeless in Grand Prairie. There's 14 day pay motels on Main Street alone, and they're full of category 2 homeless. And so, and we haven't even made it past 303. We function mostly north of 303. There are homeless south of 303, but we haven't gotten to them yet. So 89 cases. Our case management program gears towards seeing 60 of them every week. So we try to take a photo of them to document their homelessness. We have a case management plan where we're partnering with other agencies, getting them on the radar for homeless housing assistance. That can take up to 5 years. So in order to keep them on those
years.
Yes.
Wow.
And while they're outside, we have to kind of keep them on the list by continuing to document they're homeless. We go into this computer database called the Housing Management Information System, HMIS, and we say, we saw this person, took pictures, he's still homeless. And then we attend meetings called case conferencing meetings, where they ask you how your people are doing, and we say they're still out here. So during the time they're waiting, we're trying to empower them to become self-sufficient and help lift themselves out of homelessness through helping them get critical documents for employment. For example, if you're out in a tent and it's raining and you've got your backpack in there and you've got to go to the bathroom, so you're going to walk in the rain to the nearest convenience store, you're going to leave your backpack there. But if that backpack gets stolen, it's got your ID, birth certificate, social security card, you have to start over getting that documentation. And since 9/11, it's so much harder to prove who you are to get these things. So we have to take them to the hospital that they've been to get a face sheet, then take them to the Social Security office to get a social security card, and then take them to the Bureau of Vital Statistics with those things to get a birth certificate. Then take them and make an appointment with the DPS. It takes months because they're so backed up due to COVID. There's fees that have to be paid to do all of that. You have to transport them. And on top of all that, they have to have an address. And if you're homeless, what's your address?
Right.
So we do provide an address, but we try to help them overcome those barriers. And we have a case management plan for everybody. It takes time because there's just 2 of us case managers right now working on all of this, and we have to go out together. We can't go out independently for our safety. So it's a lot. We're hoping to get other people placed, other means outside of the box, under our own energy. So we've rented an RV from an RV park that happened to be available, and we put people in there until they can move to another arrangement. We've paid deposits for apartments for people, because sometimes you might try to rent and you've got an eviction or a conviction and they won't rent to you, and you don't have 3 times the rental rate. But if you talk to the manager and say, now look, I get this, $783 every month, I'm good for this, then they might try saying, well, we accept a double deposit and we'll pay the double deposit. And if that doesn't work, we accept a triple deposit and we'll pay the triple deposit. And then we'll work with them on eviction prevention and life skills. Just because you've housed someone doesn't mean it's over. They don't know how to, a lot of them don't have the life skills. I mean, some of them have mental capacities and developmental capacities which explain part of their homelessness. You know, like we got a couple into a place and she didn't know how to use a gas stove, you know, didn't really know how to do that. And you know, if they're in a place that requires quarters for laundry, they have to have income to get quarters for laundry. And you know, so we don't just stop with housing, we adopt them for the rest of their lives if they want it. We're here for the long haul. Our ultimate plan is to build affordable housing ourselves. We don't believe a shelter is right for Grand Prairie. We don't see that as a permanent solution. We also think that might make more homeless come, you know, because all the shelters are overflowing. So, oh, Grand Prairie's got a shelter. And some people might say, well, why wouldn't your housing attract more homeless? Well, we know who our chronically homeless are, and we'll build to them. We'll build to that number.
What else do you do? I know there's food and you help them get backpacks and things like that. How can people help with some of these other things?
Our top need is food, actually, because some of them get food stamps, but it's not enough, especially if you have to go buy your food from a convenience store, because that's the closest place. Think of the prices at convenience stores. They run out of money pretty quickly. So we try to make sure they don't have to worry about food so they can do other things, look for jobs or apply for other resources. So we set up a meal train, which is an app online that lists every single day of the year. And any of your followers who might be willing to help us could go onto our meal train and pick a day. If you adopt a day, you're committing to prepare 60 meals. It could be 60 sack lunches, or on certain days, more meals. We have the packaging we can provide you. We have meal making supplies if you have the energy but not the resources. We have a cook's pantry that we can make an appointment to show you, and you can walk home with a bunch of supplies. What we found is most effective is for people to pick a day and then put it on their own Facebook and say, hey, this is Taylor Bunn, and I'm hosting a day of, I'm going to make 60 meals for the homeless for January 30th. Here's my menu. Who can help me with the cookies? Who can help me with the chips? And then their friends come together and sponsor them, and they put the meal together and deliver it to us at the library at 12:30 on their required delivery day. So we have a whole system. Interestingly, that system is modeled after a program in India. It's called the Robin Hood Army, and we're the only city in the United States using their program. So we're working on a way to celebrate that here pretty soon. We had to do it for a year to be eligible to even announce this, but the Robin Hood Army was created by some young professionals in India trying to feed the millions of people in India. So they form clubs and they adopt a neighborhood. They don't adopt a date necessarily, they adopt a neighborhood. And they meet together and have fellowship, and they make the meal and they take it out to their neighborhood, and they've fallen in love with their neighborhood. So they are building schools and doing educational programs. Well, we hope that people will fall in love with our homeless when they help us deliver the meals and get involved and help us build their housing and help us help them while they're waiting to exit homelessness. So
that's really cool. So you make the meals. So you make 60 sack lunches, whatever you make, and then you can deliver them to the library. And then if you want, you can help actually take the meals to the people, or if you're not available to do that, is that okay? Can you still make meals if you're not able to volunteer?
Yeah, you can do both. You can make meals and drop them. You can make meals and help deliver, or you can just deliver. You know,
okay.
You don't have the resources to do the meals, but you're curious. You want to. You might not believe that we have this many homeless. You want to know where they are. You want to really understand the issue. Come with us. Help us deliver the meals. See firsthand. You can do all of that.
What are the best things to put in the meals? What are the
Oh,
best?
that's a good question. I can tell you. I can tell you things to do and not do.
Okay, great.
They like peanut butter and jelly. They get a lot of it, but they like that. They like fruit cups, beef jerky, although that's kind of hard for some of them. They just chew on it because some of them have some dental issues, which we're trying to work on. They like chips, fruit, grapes. They never get grapes. So if you can buy grapes and put them in baggies, they love grapes. Bananas are nice. Little mandarin oranges. We had somebody do plums, and some of our friends had never had a plum before. They was like, "What is this?" You know.
Wow.
Some things not to do are pretzels. They can't eat them, and no spicy chips. That's just doesn't work.
Okay.
Very hard for them. Spicy food is hard. During the summer, we had people do pickles. They loved pickles. Cookies. They love cookies. They love warm meals most. And so if people can cook, spaghetti or tuna casserole or something, we have the little plastic containers, or you can order them online and pack a warm meal. The only days we can accept warm meals are Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Okay.
If you pick a Tuesday, Thursday, or a Sunday, we actually need you to bring that meal to us the day before, because we deliver double meals on Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. By delivering 2 meals on Mondays and Wednesdays, that frees me up for case management meetings, help further them. And then Saturday, so we can be free on Sundays to, go to church, be with our families. And then the afternoons, we do a Bible study or a service project with them.
Okay, so that's great. And so volunteers, you could take 2 days since you're going to be delivering them on the same day. So you might do, if Hope for All wants to get a group together, we can do a Monday and a Tuesday and have a warm meal Monday and a sack lunch Tuesday. Bring it to you at the same time.
You got it. You would bring it to us at 12:30 on Monday, and both of them. And then we'll have delivery teams, and you could be one of them, but we'll divide the meals based on how many delivery teams. So if I've got 3 teams, each team gets 20 meals, and they have a route. Well, they get 20 of Monday's meals and 20 of Tuesday meals, and they have a route, and they go out. And it takes them a couple of hours to go to their camps. The more delivery teams we have, the faster it goes. So and we named all of our spots. We said, go to Jimmy's Alley, go to the lower African camp, go to the upper Mexican camp. We've got names.
Okay, great. This has all been really helpful. So food is a big issue. I hear that you need water right now. We'll send you some water, and tell people where to send donations.
Okay. If you're gonna bring water, it's best to reach out to me to coordinate that, because we don't, you had asked this earlier, we don't actually have a building. We have 2 classrooms in a little school that belongs to First United Methodist, and they let us use the classrooms to store our cook's pantry and our little things that we give out. So we're not there all the time. We're a mobile street outreach, so we're in the car most of the time. And so we have to coordinate with you to meet you there. So I'm gonna give my phone number in a minute. And then the Chamber of Commerce at 900 Conover Street has agreed to be a drop-off site for tents and sleeping bags and jackets, things like that. We do not take clothes. We cannot handle clothes. And so that's the best way, is just to reach out and coordinate with us or drop it by the chamber. So my phone number is 214-212-7958, and I'm great at texting.
Okay, great.
I can talk because I drive so much. So
I can confirm that. Great texter.
Currently, we are experiencing a growth in homelessness. I think it's COVID related, but homelessness was already growing before COVID. And Dallas, as a matter of fact, before COVID, was noted as having the highest number of homeless in any city of Texas, even more than Houston. With 2 million people, Dallas has more homeless. So we, since we don't have a shelter, we provide tents to our homeless, and we provide sleeping bags. And we have it's a responsible program. It's called the Clean Camp program. And so when we give out a tent, they have to sign an agreement form that they will keep their campsite clean. So they have to document the site that they move into to start with, because a lot of times it's old sites that have litter from years of camping. So we just want them to document. And then we give them trash bags and ask them to clean up around, even if it's not their trash. And then we offer trash pickup to help move that. And we ask them to document that. And then we also ask them to carry their waste out, their human waste. Just like you take a dog for walking, you have to pick up the waste. They have to pick up their waste, which is hard, but they need to document they're doing that so that we can show we're being responsible to the water and the land. And then if something happens to their tent, it breaks, the seam split, they can get a new one from us, but they must turn in the old one. So we're not trying to grow these really large campsites, and we're not trying to give them a tent for storage and a tent to sleep in. We don't want to make them so comfortable that they don't have to work to get out of homelessness. So they have to turn in their old tent, and we'll exchange it for a new one. And
so we have your phone number.
Mm-hmm.
How can people learn more about Grand Prairie Homeless Outreach Organization or get in touch if they want to help out and have questions?
Well, we have a Facebook page, and on the Facebook page, we try to document our experiences in working with the homeless. We pretty much just have to tell it like it is because we have needs. It's all done by volunteers. There's no paid staff. Everybody's a volunteer. 100% of what comes our way goes right back out. So you can learn more about the journeys and become more educated about homelessness in Grand Prairie by looking through some of our past posts. You'll also see where we're going in the future. We intend, as I mentioned, to build affordable housing. And so we have been accepted into the replication program of the Community First Village in Austin. And we've been going to their trainings to learn how to train our community, how to establish a village like that. So you'll learn about that. And in there, if we have a certain need, we are very specific about it. It doesn't really help us for people to think on their own. I'm sorry to say this, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but say, I bet they need care kits. I'm going to make care kits. Sure. And then give us a bunch of care kits that we distribute supplies every other week on what we call Supply Day Saturday. We do need volunteers for that. So in our little storage area, we have a room called the Friends of the Homeless Room. It's a partnership with another ministry, and it's full of bins. I've got bins of toothpaste, bins of deodorant, bins of razors, bins of sanitary pads. And so when we go on Supply Day Saturday, each team has bins, and we go deliver lunch and we pull the bins out and give them a grocery bag and let them take what they need.
Okay. It's
a lot less wasteful because, they have what they need right now because we're doing this. So, ask us if you have the capacity to donate something. Ask us what we need right now. We're short on really good razors and Barbasol or whatever shaving cream. We need feminine pads, always or stay free, ultra thin. We're low on those. The ladies seem to prefer the pads than the tampons. So, and then we mentioned the sleeping bags and the tents. We need those. And then we've got plenty of toothpaste and deodorant right now, thanks to the donations we received. So I would say that the main things that I just mentioned are what we need. We have enough hand sanitizer and enough masks right now. So those things I mentioned are what we're short of right now.
Well, thank you. So everyone, if you want to help out, you've got Tammy's phone number. You know how to contact her on Facebook. Hope for All. I know we look forward to engaging with you more and helping out with this. And I just really appreciate you to visit with me today. I know you're busy with helping out our homeless friends, and we appreciate your work and your time today. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. And Hope for All has been a great supporter. You helped us put people in rooms this summer when we had 105-degree weather. Without your help, we wouldn't have done that. So thank you for this opportunity to share about us.